2, 1.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the third episode of the Rafida Roundtable, dear viewers. Welcome, and we appreciate your attendance today for this third show where we are going to speak about the solution to the Iraq Revolution. Very important topic that the world is paying attention to. Very relevant to all the Shia, not just the Iraqis. Anywhere, any Shia in the world should be paying attention to this as it affects us all. And today I'm joined by three guests with me, or three co-hosts here. We have, of course, Ali Habib across the table. And we have here on my left, Brother David. And on my, alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And I have on my right here, Ahmed Shakuri. Oh no, actually it's not. It's a new guest here, a new co-host. What have you done with Ahmed? Where is he? If you can introduce yourself, brother. We have a new guest here with us today, and it's Sayyid Mehdi. Who are you, Sayyid?
Assalamu alaikum. Sayyid Mehdi. I am a servant here, inshallah, one of the servants in the mosque, inshallah.
May Allah bless you. I'm sure some
Thank
of you
for inviting me.
No, it's our pleasure, alhamdulillah. Unfortunately, Ahmed couldn't join, and Sayyid, to be honest, being an Iraqi himself, is very relevant for him to speak about this topic, and I'm sure he can chime in today on this important topic. But Sayyid, let the viewers know what do you do at the Hay'a, and who are you, and give them some info.
Well, I help out in a lot of departments in the Hay'a. Help out in the mosque, help out in FEDEC sometimes, and I also help out in the film. I try and contribute, inshallah.
You're heavily involved in a film now.
Yes.
Inshallah, we'll be getting good news from that soon.
Inshallah, you will be enlightened with a great film with the Noor of Fatima al-Zahra, inshallah. Very soon, inshallah. You will see a film that, all the Shia will be happy and proud to say, we are the followers of Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam.
Inshallah, Fatima al-Zahra is proud and accepts this from us.
Inshallah.
So, thank you, Sayyid, and thank you for joining us today. I know you're very busy, alhamdulillah wa shukr. So this topic, dear viewers, the solution to the Iraq Revolution, as I mentioned, very important topic since September, October. This has been kicking off, obviously, with, I think it was the 22nd of September where some people came out with calling for a protest, a group of civil activists, and by, I think, the beginning of October, maybe even the very beginning, if it was the 1st October, if I remember, they began with their protests. And this sparked a big, snowball, which has led to the situations that we've seen over the last few months. And I'm sure the guests have been paying attention. There's been a lot of chaos, a lot of killing, unnecessarily killing, and obviously the people are wanting change. It's very clear that people are not going to settle unless they get some real change. And we pray that this is something that is successful, because Iraq has been in a situation which is, and only can be described as chaos and corruption for as long as we can remember. Before we begin here the discussion with my dear brothers, if Subhan can play the first video just to have a short glimpse into this protest. Let me know when that's ready, Brother Subhan.
Inshallah.
Sorry, we didn't introduce. We have Subi again in the control room. I always forget to mention him. If you can say salam to the viewers, Subi.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
May Allah bless you. Let me know when that video is ready, inshallah, and we can share that to the viewers.
Okay. It's ready.
Inshallah, go ahead.
يوم الأحد 24 داعش يشمرون بالبقالة كل داعش يشمرون مولاتهم انت احكي ما هو بالسماء راح الزين ومار راح القلب
So, dear viewers, that is the situation in Iraq, and that's just a few clips. Of course, you can imagine, such occurrences are happening so often. And the one thing that touched my heart is when they were holding those forgot the name. What do they call them? They're carrying the dead basically over their shoulders. I forgot what the name is, but yeah, Sayed. So I mean, that clip shows what the people are going through, and I think you as an Iraqi national, maybe that touches your heart the most with your people, seeing them in that state.
Of course.
And I'm sure you have family members there.
Of course, I mean it's heartbreaking to see Iraq like this. There's never any solutions. I mean, we just 16 years ago we got rid of Saddam Hussein, and now we've got other people in power. These political parties, they've all had a go in politics to try and give something to these people, what they went through during Saddam Hussein's times period. No. Millions of people died, specifically the Shia. I mean, us Shia, we've just been oppressed in Iraq for thousands, since the martyrdom of Imam Ali until now. Yeah. But now, we got power. It's in our hands, and us Shia, we're good people. We look after everyone. We give everyone
especially
their
Karbala,
rights.
you see the people, the common people there in Iraq. They're very hospitable. They're very kind-hearted. The general population.
I mean, you're more than welcome to go. When a lot of people, they've seen. If you go to Karbala, the welcoming atmosphere that you have from the Iraqi people. It's just a shame that we have these politicians that. That came into Iraq and they destroyed the country. I mean, they've been in 16 years in power, and they haven't actually offered anything to Iraq.
SubhanAllah.
These people, all you need to do is give them simple stuff.
SubhanAllah. There was a quote. There was a quote I read from one of the protesters where he said, I actually have it pulled up here. He said, "We came here prepared to die." He's one of the protesters now in these days. He said, "We came prepared to die because after the fall of Saddam, the fall of Saddam's regime, we haven't seen anything good from them. Parliament is just mafias and corrupt parties. All of them came to destroy this country." I mean, the corruption is something we have to touch on. But the people they're not happy with the situation. They've seen, the thing is, a lot of them, they've seen hell in the time of Saddam.
Of course.
So you can tell if they're angry now, even though a lot of the protesters are from the younger generation now.
Yeah,
this is the record.
A lot of these demonstrators that you see now, they are under 16 years old.
Yeah,
they haven't even a lot of them haven't even witnessed Saddam in power.
Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, I think that's better. Apologies, viewers, we had a little technical hiccup there. But yeah, so a lot of them just have witnessed the wreck has been left behind after all that situation.
Literally, I mean, Malik, I went to Iraq. It's just these past 2-3 years I haven't been. We've been busy, with the Hay'a. But apart from that, I used to go there every year and spend, quite some time in Iraq. Literally, they didn't build anything. I mean, the only thing that you see that get built in Iraq is houses and buildings. Normal people, people. They're doing that with their own money. It's so embarrassing. I remember there was they built a little mini bridge, so the cars can go over and cross the bridge. Imagine the prime minister at that time, the Iraqi prime, who was he? Nur al-Maliki. He came all the way from Baghdad, so he can cut, with this scissors, cut the little ribbon. Yeah, the little ribbon, and cameras and everything, and he did that, and actually it wasn't even ready. It took another 6 months to 8 months just to do that.
And even if you're saying they're building houses, I'm reading that there's still about 2.5 million homeless people now in Iraq.
Yeah, I mean,
if not greater, most likely greater. So even the houses they're building, I don't know who these houses are for.
there are 25% of Iraq now. They're jobless. When I went to Iraq, you go and you go to the graveyards on Friday to read Fatiha for the ones that they passed away, your granddad or any of the shuhada that died in our times now. I went there and I saw people living in the graveyards. Literally living in the graveyards. Yeah, imagine I went and I see these people coming out from the grave. You know, their graveyards are not like us. Like you have some graveyards that, you know, you go downstairs like a basement, and there's like 6-7 graveyards.
Right.
So you get people living down there, actually living in the graveyard. No one goes to see how, you know.
And is this the case? Even those who are, for example, housed and whatnot. Apparently, I'm not sure if it's 100% true. You could tell me. Apparently, most people that do have housing or whatnot, they have only 12 hours of electricity a day usually.
No, there is no 12 hours. It's every 4 hours. I think you get 2 hours if you're lucky. Sometimes, yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, every 4 hours you get 2 hours if you're very, very lucky. And sometimes you don't even get those 2 hours.
How long has that been the case?
That's been the case since 16 years. 16 years. 16 years, and still nothing. I mean, the only people so you have to pay the government. You have to pay them electricity for those 2 hours. You're paying a ton of money, by the way. You're paying a lot of money, yeah. And also, what you do is you have to pay. There's these guys who got a generator in every area. You pay him money as well, a lot of money as well, yeah. Just so that they can give you a few amperes, so you can switch on a little TV or have a little light, yeah. And that cost a lot of money. Charge your phone up and whatnot. And I remember at that time, few years back, when one of these prime ministers that was in power, that Maliki guy, I think it was South Korea, they said, you know, we're ready to build electricity to cover the whole of Iraq. But this electricity power point will cost, I don't know, over $1 billion or something. And this is look at their logic. Look at this guy's logic and the way he thinks. He came out on TV and they told him, you know, why don't you do this? He goes, no, you know, we need the money now in Iraq to do other stuff.
We'll talk about where the money's going soon. If they're saying they can't afford expenses like that, we'll have some questions for them later. No. It's just let me finish. Listen to his solution. Listen to his stupid solution. What he said is, let's do this. He goes, okay. He goes, listen, guys, we need to develop ourselves. You know, us Iraqis, we need to be like the Japanese. When the electricity comes on, you know, after 4 hours you get the 2 hours. Don't switch everything on. Don't switch on the ACs. You know, even if it's 50 degrees, you're boiling to death. Don't switch on the ACs. You know, just switch on one light. Switch on one thing. You know, you have to. So you can save. Everyone knows that Iraq, as a country, especially with its oil production, is rich enough to solve the infrastructure issue. Of course. I think the infrastructure costs, if I'm not mistaken. I don't want to misquote here from what I'm reading. Estimates to rebuild the infrastructure of Iraq after the devastation they saw during the American invasion and whatnot, 100 billion. 100 billion. And they have this money. And we can easily, and everyone is aware actually, much more than this is siphoned from the country.
Of course.
But we'll go into that. But I just want to let Subhan know, obviously, and the guests as well. We do have a special guest today who is Ahmed Al-Lami. If Subhan can just prepare him and let us know when he is ready. And we can bring him in. Of course, Ahmed Al-Lami, he's known for his program on FedEx TV, which is microphone. I think in English you'd say microphone of the masses, maybe is a correct translation. Very successful show. And of course, he's been discussing this very critical topic. So
I know if I...
Subhan can just let us know once that's ready. And we'll bring him in, inshallah ta'ala. And I'm sure the brothers will have a lot of questions for him.
He's ready.
He's ready, Subhan? Yeah. Okay, bring him in. Assalamu alaikum, Ahmed Al-Lami.
Assalamu wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. And a big salute for you and all your guests.
Thank you,
I'm so glad to be with your show. I'm so glad to be with your show.
It's our pleasure.
Technical show.
Go ahead, brother.
Technical show. I think there's a technical that I can hear myself like a number of times.
Oh, I see. Okay. I'll see if the technical team can resolve that, and we'll bring you back in. Do apologize to the viewers and to our esteemed guest Ahmed Al-Lami. And if I can just throw out to the brothers here. tell the viewers. Maybe there's someone who hasn't tuned in much. Well, I mean, obviously these types of protests are always related to corruption and things of that sort. Usually infrastructure, electricity, water, jobs, the usual things that a lot of these types of countries fight for. But tell us a bit more about this protest. What are the people calling for? What do they want?
Mostly they're calling for better life, because the situation, as you know, as Sayyid Mahdi mentioned, is very hard in terms of electricity. All the basic things, almost everything don't work. Actually, we all know that, because I think most of the brothers we've been to Iraq. So for Ziyarat, but even if you stay a few days, you will know that. You will notice. Basically, yes, everything don't work. They have no progress. We hope each time we hope next year it will be better, and we come back and it's still the same. It's not move. That's the biggest problem.
I think they also. I mean, there's a few things. I think they're wanting as well. It's clear they want to get rid of this government as a whole. This government itself is riddled of corruption, which again we'll touch into. But they also want things like they want to stop Iranian influence in the country, as well as U.S. influence, of course. But I think there's a very heavy sentiment of anti-Iranian.
Yeah, now there's very big sentiment anti-Iranian, because Iranian is now like Israel or USA for a lot of protest people who go into the protest, because they have a large influence, and which is mostly a bad influence in Iraq. They just come for the interest. They take the decision for everything inside, and the Iraqi people are very tired about that. They want to have their own power. They want to make their decision, and at the moment they don't do it. They can.
I mean, even those who are very pro-Iran, which unfortunately a lot of Shia are, and we obviously clearly are not, one can't deny that this is the case. I think we saw a video the other day by an individual that isn't worth mentioning, where he was trying to defend this thing, and even the Iranian protests that are occurring. But no one can deny there's a heavy anti-Iranian theme regarding these protests, and one has to wonder why. And one has to question, if Iran is involved in this corruption and whatnot.
Of course they are involved. Of course they are involved in this corruption.
It
just came from the interest. They put some people and they use it like puppets to control the country as they need. That's why.
The problem is with Iran, they don't only just control the government, they control the streets of Iran. I mean, they've got the militias, and they're undercover people everywhere. I mean, when I went to Karbala, it was crazy. I see a big picture of Khamenei.
There's certain parties that are pushing.
And there's a guy with a Kalashnikov, with a chair sitting underneath it, like, go on, I dare you, say something, and everyone's scared. And this is Karbala, by the way. This is Karbala city,
Who is that Ayatollah within quote unquotes that Iran were trying to push, and he died like 4 years ago. I can't remember the name. They were pushing, because they from what I was understanding, they were trying at that time, and most likely still are trying to replace Sistani as that religious figure in Iraq. I forgot the name of the Ayatollah.
I forgot as well, but they did bring in.
And he died.
They brought in a few in the beginning. What they tried to do, Iran, they play these games. They tried to bring in some people from Qom and then move them to Iraq, and and try and raise them up within, so they get known within the Iraqi community, and then, they'll have their influence. That failed. Then they tried Kamal al-Haidari, who's Iraqi, and they tried they started putting him on their TV channels like Kauthar TV, and promoting him and promoting him. And then afterwards, his true agendas came out. He wants to be, he wants to become a Marja Ayatollah, whatever he wants to call himself, and have his influence on Iraq. And even he spoke about Said Ali Sistani. He tried to say Said Ali Sistani is a British agent. I mean, Iran's agenda is known within the Shia, the Iraqi Shia.
That's clear. They've caught on to this now. This is not something hidden, and anyone who tries to deny it is fooling himself.
I mean, you can't. I mean, if you're a Shia and you criticize Iran, you say one word about Iran, and you're an agent.
Exactly.
You're an agent. It's just stupid. And this is why we're having one of the reasons now we're having an uprising in Iraq because of this. You know, Iraq doesn't want Iran doesn't want Iraq to fix up. Who's a third of the electricity, that 2-hour electricity that's coming into Iraq is coming through Iran. It's coming through Iran. The gas, the oil, a lot of our petrol is coming from, even though we have petrol, it's still coming from Iran. You know, Iran doesn't want to lose that. Iran doesn't want to lose that. Iran will know. Iran doesn't want to. They don't want peace in Iraq. They will never. They will never
unless they have control. Unless they have control.
They won't even. They can't have control. It's stupid to want to have control over Iraq. It's not going to happen. Just be realistic. You know, America. They're the strongest country in the world, and they couldn't control Iraq.
No,
you're going to have a.
The Iraqi nature is not one you can tame. Not like our bases.
Yeah, of course.
But I want to just check. Is our guest ready? Ahmed Alami, I think he's here.
I believe so.
Okay, inshallah khair. Let's see. Brother Ahmed, can you hear us?
I can hear you, gentlemen. I can hear you, gentlemen. I can hear you.
Alhamdulillah. Can you hear me? Is the echo sorted?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you for joining us, Brother Ahmed Alami. And just to remind the viewers, this is Brother Ahmed, who's currently doing a show on FedEx TV called The Microphone of the Masses, where he is covering this topic regarding Iraq. So we thought we'd bring him on, someone who's well versed in this topic. Brother Ahmed, if I can kick it off straight away, the brothers have been discussing the issue now, and it's clear, obviously, that the Iraqi people want a new government. They don't want anything to do with this current government, and they also want Iran influence out of the country. But from what you understand, what is the actual issue with the current government, and what solution are people proposing? If they want to get rid of this government, what's to come in the future? Is it just chaos, or do they have some idea of which direction they want to head to?
It's been a pleasure to be with you people, and I want to comment more about what the gentleman, Brother Mehdi, said, and the other guests that you have. And I see there's a very well thought and very well, and it's a very well spoken, and you guys really touch the actual problem.
May Allah bless you. May Allah bless you.
But we need to understand something. We need to understand something. The Iraqi people, they are facing a lot of a problem because of what is Iraq is all about. Iraq, it's a very rich country, a lot of potential, have a lot of resources, a lot of potential, as I mentioned.
A lot of wealth.
Has the uranium, 2 major rivers, oils, very well.
Yes.
So therefore, it is a targeted country for all the surrounding neighbors. Unfortunately, Iran have the big share of this interfering in that. But we cannot, despite the Saudi government, interfering, Turkish, United States, you name it, any country around the Iraq, it is interfering, and it try to not making Iraq to progress toward
stable future.
To be more developed country.
Yeah.
Exactly. Stay in the future. So what we are facing now, the rally and the demonstration now, what the Iraqi is coming from that common ground, from all the backgrounds, from all the beliefs, from all madhabs, from all thoughts, from different kind of community, they come into one topic. They need their country back. They need the dignity and the power of the real country back.
Yes.
Therefore, that's the segments who are in the Iraqi sectors and all the other parties, which is Brother Mehdi mentioned. The whole government has been corrupted. All the parties, the parliaments is corrupted, filthy governments. They only care about their own interests, their own parties, And the last thing they are thinking about is the Iraqi people interest.
But is there an element of hatred towards religion as well? Because there's some people claiming that this is, and especially Western media claiming this is a liberal type of movement. They want separation between state and religion. For example, is this the case as well? Is there the element of hatred towards religion? Because there is a claim to be made that there's corruption within religious circles as well.
I believe there is a thing. It's now is a lot of people think that religion and the movement need to be separate. Politics and the religion need to be separate. But we have to know from where that's come from, because a lot of the people who consider themselves they are religious people, and they come in on the name of Ahl al-Bayt, and they come in from a background of the family of Marja'iyya, such as Muqtada Sadr and Ammar al-Hakim and al-Da'wah parties and all those people. They are ruin what is the religion is all about.
Yeah.
Moreover, that you see on the Bakri side, you see in the Bakri side, they are doing the same thing because they come in from that thought as well, that they come in from a Sunnah and we are Arabs and we need to improve ourselves, yet they are very corrupted as much as the Shia.
Yes. What did you have
as well the Kurdish as well?
Do you have any examples? Sorry to cut you. Do you have any examples on what specific, for example, corruption, governmental corruption, or corruption from religious circles?
I will tell you. Now, first of all, that when you're looking at al-Da'wah parties, which is coming from a religion background, so to speak, and the founder of them, Muhammad Baqir al-Sadr, they come in as a religion party.
Yes.
Now, look who is the most corrupted parties. You're gonna look, al-Da'wah have a big, part of it.
Yes.
From Nur al-Maliki, from all the other people inside within that party.
Yeah, they've been ruling.
And that's what it is. You go to the second one, it is Muqtada.
Yes.
They are controlling 80% of the Parliament. They have a lot of ministries under their control. Yet you see the corruptions, it's like no tomorrow. There is no development. You see, if any project need to be going good for Iraq, you see it's been stopped, not progress.
Yeah.
Because, unless if you are to bribe them, unless if you pay something under the table,
Bribery is a big issue.
Iraq is not the problem, it's the poverty.
The poverty, yeah.
If I can
Iraqi
pose a
doesn't
question.
have a poverty. In the Iraqi, it is, the lack of opportunity.
I think Brother Ali Habib has a question for you. If you can go ahead, Brother Ali.
If I can pose a question to Brother Ahmed Al-Lami, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. Inshallah, we have more podcasts and you will join us, inshallah, bidhnillahi ta'ala.
Likewise, I'll be more than happy.
Barakallahu fikum. I'd just like to ask you this question. We were speaking about corruption here. We're speaking about the 16-year government so far that has come to power after the American invasion of Iraq. How did these corrupt individuals get into power? Why did they get into power? Why did the Iraqi people accept these individuals?
Well, in the beginning, it was when after Saddam regime is gone, those people, they come in as they are the helper, they're the savior. Okay, we understand that government of United States, they're the one who get rid of Saddam and take off his regime. So when Iraq, it was under the umbrella of United States, those governments the parties start to develop within themselves. And they come in as, I was one of the people, I was so happy. I said, okay, now that we have a new government, people coming from an opposition of Saddam, and those people, they know what is, people who is facing a lot of problems and poverty, and people they've been kind of really oppressed with not living in a good life. So they coming from that background. So we thought, okay, those people, they're gonna do all what is good for their interests. Yet, no, they have their agenda, because the money in Iraq, like really giant. Any smaller project is a big giant. And those people, apparently, they take the religion and they take the madhab of Ahl al-Bayt, they take madhab of Bakri, they take, you know, the Kurds as a background and nationalist identity to steal the Iraqi, because they see they are very corrupted. They see themselves. They are very, you know, deserve that they are in control of this money because they are in power.
Subhanallah, I was just speaking to Sayyid Mahdi just bro.
And they have.
And I was saying that this is what happens when a dictator falls. You see, Saddam Hussein, for example, ruled Iraq for almost 35 years. Almost 35 years, you can say. He ruled it with an iron fist. He was tough on crime, tough on corruption, tough on fasad, and etc. You see, there are positives and negatives when it comes to the fall of a tyrant. Saddam Hussein's a tyrant, no one disputes that. There's positives and negatives when it comes to this. And we can learn from history also. Saddam Hussein controls Iraq, controls the government with an iron fist, and puts no door for corruption. He even went to an extent of killing one of his brother-in-law for crimes of corruption and crimes of revolting against him. But he was very tough on corruption. This is what we know. So when Saddam Hussein dropped, when Saddam Hussein was killed, or he lost power in the American invasion, this kind of opened the door for corrupt individuals to come into power. You see, even we can learn through history also. For example, the example of Julius Caesar, a very well-known Roman dictator. He was by far, according to history, the best Roman general at that time. He was a Roman dictator for 10 years. Then he was going to be a dictator for all the years until he dies, basically, until he dies. This dictator is a term in the politics of the Roman Empire or the Roman Republic at the time. He had everything in control. As soon as he was assassinated, the country or the republic fell into corruption, fell into civil wars, and bloodshed was shed through the next, I believe, 20 years. 20 years, and this is the stage that we are in right now. Unfortunately, this is the stage where we are in. Where we have worked so hard to kind of drop this individual, Saddam Hussein. There was uprisings, blood was shed, and then later on the American invasion came in and took him out, and a so-called Shi'i government came. A so-called Shi'i government. However, they are far from Tashayyu', and this is undisputed. Yani. They came to power.
Brother Ali.
Go ahead.
The problem is not in Madhab Ahl al-Bayt, not in the Shia, and the problem not in the Bakri, and probably not in the Kurdish.
Yes.
It's those individuals, they have their specific agenda, and they are living in those countries who have a targeted in Iraq, in Iran, in all other countries. They already are an agent, and they've been educated well that when you go to Iraq, you be our guy who is going to do whatever we've been telling you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Therefore, we're going to give you the power. We give you whatever you need.
Do their agendas for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, exactly, it's like an agenda.
Yes.
And as soon as he accepts that, then he is in a corrupted.
Yes, Brother Ahmed, how long we have left? I think we have you for 5 minutes, because I know you've got a busy schedule, and we've managed just to squeeze you in, and we thank you for your time. There's some questions coming in from Twitter. If Subi can play this question, hopefully we can get 1 or 2 questions answered from our Twitter audience If we can do one, that would be good. If two, that would be great. But I know you're running low on time. The question here from Suhail Abbas Khan: do you think it is? And I'm just reading out the question for you. Do you think it is? Do you think it is Muqtada Sadr, who I believe is a Saudi agent, and the growing influence of Iran, the reason for the uprising in Iraq? I want to focus more on the Muqtada Sadr because I know you briefly mentioned him. Do you want to tackle this question?
Oh, definitely. Muqtada Sadr, he is an agent for any person any government who's paying him, who's giving him a power.
It's a good way to put it.
He is the most corrupted. You know,
He's unpredictable.
Anybody, he can go to the extreme.
Yeah.
If you're gonna pay him, he will be your agent.
Subhanallah.
Believe it or not.
But what's the influence? What's he managed to do? Because the viewer here is. Go ahead.
The influence that he has is from his dad's name.
Yeah.
And according to my information, the guy he pay for his followers in order to get him. Otherwise, who will believe in this kind of mentality? But you can understand this. From you see him when he's going to any khutbah in the Jum'ah time. He's saying khutbah and the other people, they say Ameen. They thought he's doing dua, not khutbah. So that show you what kind of audience and followers he has.
Yeah.
The people doesn't know from khutbah to dua.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm trying to say? Do you understand my drift?
Yeah.
So, Sister Muqtada Sadr, he is the most corrupted person. And I can think like he's the biggest mafia in Iraq.
Oh, yes. Do you have any examples of something he's done specifically?
Now,
Ahmed, just a question for you, brother. Who's more of a threat? Who's more of a threat to Iraq? Is it Muqtada Sadr or Iran? Who's a bigger threat to the Iraqi people?
Well, you say that they are the same. Well, they are the same card. They're the same card with a different color.
Two sides to the same coin. Yeah.
Same people.
Yeah.
He is. When you say Muqtada, that means he's Iran. When you say Muqtada, he's Saudi. When you say Muqtada, he is the other country.
Yeah. But the Shia people.
Amazing how this guy he could be flexible.
He's a shapeshifter. Are the Iraqi people aware of this? Are they waking up to this? Is his tricks still? Can he still fool the people in today's time now? 2020.
No, he can't. He can't. He tried.
Yeah.
He tried to take advantage of this rally and this religion to put it in his interest, and try to, we say that they call it in Arabic, yarkab al-moja, that he want to take the wave in his interest.
Brother Ahmed, how long?
But this movement, it was going.
Go ahead.
It's really rejecting him.
Yeah. Brother Ahmed, do we have time for one more question, or do you need to go?
Yeah, please. Yeah, go ahead.
We have a question here, if Subi can pull it up. And please, Ahmed, if you do need to go, let me know, because I know you still have such a tight schedule. So this is from, if I'm reading it correctly,
No problem.
Sensei Blackistani, that's the name on Twitter here for this viewer. And I'll read out the question, if Subi can get that on screen. Why are religious sites being attacked if these protests are about bringing down the government and have nothing to do with the religion, or nothing to do with religion? Protesters set fire to the Ayatollah Muhammad Baqir al-Hakim's shrine in Najaf. What did he do to deserve that? If you want to tackle this question, Brother Ahmed.
See, I will tell you this targeted. I'm personally against in any force or any unsafe or burning or breaking or anything, regardless who we target. We need to be this movement to be as safest and need to be and peaceful as much as possible.
Ahsan.
I'm against that. Yet this place, which is the graveyard of Muhammad Baqir Hakim, according to my information and a lot of Iraqi, is not only a graveyard, it is an office and it is a center for Ammar al-Hakim party. So when the people they target that, and I'm not justifying, but I'm saying, but it is when they are targeting that, they're not targeting the graveyard. And I don't believe Muhammad Baqir al-Hakim, he is the target here. They target, the identity of Ammar Hakim, and they don't want him to exist, and they want to tell him that you are not welcome in our life and not in our decision-making government.
Brother Ahmed, I want to thank you sincerely for taking time out of your day and your busy week to help us and present your points to the viewers. I'm sure they very much appreciate your attendance. We'd love to have you again in the future, and no doubt about it, we will be coming at you for more of your time, inshallah. So thank you for coming, Brother Ahmed, and
thank you very much.
You're welcome. We bid you farewell. Bi amanillah.
Amen.
So that was Brother Ahmed Al-Lami, and we thank him again. Inshallah, we will see him again soon on the Roundtable. He's a very dear brother to us here. He's visited numerous times to the organization, to the Hayat Ghuddam Mahdi, and we ask Allah to give him tawfiq and success. Brothers, I want to just tackle something because I think we're going on for about 40 minutes. So we got about another 50 minutes or so. I want us just to focus a bit on the corruption, because I was reading a bit about this. The corruption that's occurring, and I don't think we know the half of what's going on. I mean, whenever you get statistics that come out or analysis that happens from think tanks or humanitarian,
the things like sorry to cut you.
No, go ahead.
It's very very difficult to know exactly the amount of the corruption in some things because it's like very messy. We don't know. Everyone, I think, even the corrupted people, they don't really know because there are a lot of different people who take part of this. So we can't really, know exactly the amount or something like that. I think no one knows about that.
I mean, I think it's always more than whatever estimates come out. But I want to just put some figures out there. As I was saying earlier, the reconstruction of Iraq's infrastructure, say it is estimated that they require $100 billion.
Yes.
Yeah? Maybe someone might hear that and think, okay, that's a lot of money. We can understand maybe. Yeah, exactly. But
it's not.
One thing I'll throw out there is
Iraq has that money.
They have that money. They have that money. The Iraq oil income in the last 10 years, how much is that? An estimate of 800 billion.
800 billion.
800 billion from oil revenue only. Oil, 800 billion.
How much you say, brother? 100 million.
100 billion.
But that's not so much
to rebuild
for a state.
To rebuild. Yeah. It's not much. It's not much. Some people may hear the figure because 100 billion for us.
No,
for a country like Iraq.
I will give you an example for a country like for example, United Kingdom or France.
Yeah.
The annual budget is 1,300 billion just for 1 year. And now we talk just about 100.
Exactly.
So it's not so.
And that's the fundamental infrastructure that the people need. Yeah. Water, electricity, the things that Said was mentioning about housing, these basic things, hospitals, schools, whatnot, the roads, etc. But that's 500 billion. That's 800 billion from oil revenue alone. And some of the estimates that come out in terms of money that's siphoned, stolen from the country. I think I can't recall if it was the last 10 years as well. Was 500 billion. 500 billion siphoned in the pockets of corrupt officials. You have, for example, investigation. There was investigation done on 20 companies in Iraq. Just these 20 companies only siphoned about $4 billion using fake contracts. Which means that there's a contract and there's nothing behind it. Phantom projects, which is a project where nothing's actually occurring, just the money goes into their pocket. You have the ghost employee scandals, where there was one study done, 57,000. This when I found this, I was shocked. This is new to me. This is very recent. I read this. 50,000 names were found on the Ministry of Defense payroll, where there was no 50,000 people. These 50,000 were people that don't work anymore. They don't come up to work, and then the colleagues pocket the money. So the salary of 50,000 people in the Ministry of Defense payroll didn't go to those 50,000. Didn't go to anyone beside the people who came and pocketed them. And I think recently they've been changing the way they pay out the money to try to resolve that. And just one more point, which ties in with this. If you take into consideration that the MP salaries I don't know if it's right now, but in very recent times, and it could be up until today, MP salaries or official salaries would be up to $11,000 a month. And again, for that to make sense to us, that's as if that would be the equivalent if an American congressman earned $1 million a year. That would be the equivalent for the salary for the Iraqi officials.
Yeah, but it's
that's $11,000 a month plus potential benefits of up to $15,000.
Plus your pension.
Plus benefits
your
and
plus the
pension,
corruption,
you know,
because it's not
plus the corruption.
Actually, this salary it's not it's high, but it's not so high for prime minister. But it's not the will income.
No, this is for the officials. This is not the prime minister.
No, I mean
No, the prime minister, prime minister of Iraq.
Yeah.
Adil Abdel Mahdi, he admitted in an interview, stating that I get $1 million monthly.
No.
The prime minister of Britain gets £12,000 monthly.
Yeah.
Rais al-Wazara, which is
and you can be sure
the
it's
prime
more
minister
than that.
gets 12,000 monthly, and the people in the parliament, their monthly wage is £6,000. And the Iraqi prime minister says that I get $1 million monthly.
He admitted this?
He admitted this
on
is
television
known.
or what?
Yes, it's I should have bought.
Why is he admitting it?
I should have bought this clip and translated it for the brothers. He literally admits. He says, "Yes, I get $1 million monthly," and the interviewer is shocked.
But he gives it to charities or something.
Yeah.
But why is he admitting it? Because it got leaked and the information was out
because,
there.
the Bank of Iraq, I think there was a problem between the government and the Bank of Iraq, and they started going at each other, and the Bank of Iraq started leaking documents about the government. And then the government.
Then let me come out with it.
Yeah.
It's always like
they're
that.
both stealing, but it's just when you start going at each other, they'll start bringing you out, and then you'll just back down, and that's how it is. In
the
Iraq.
woman who was interviewing him in that interview, she was shocked. She says, "Where does this money get spent?" He says, "Oh, if you were to prepare this question to me from before, I would have bought you a list of where this money is spent." He says this money is spent on charity, for charities for the orphans, for the widows, for the hospitals, for the children, for the things. Sheikh Al-Habib, when commenting on what he said, he says, if this is true, if this is actually true, then there will be no such thing as a poor man in Iraq. There will be no such thing. For all these years that you've been taking $1 million monthly, and if you truly spend this wage on the orphans, on the children, on the widows, schools, hospitals, etc., Iraq would be a heaven on earth.
Yeah, subhanallah. And I mean, even like, I think quite recently there was discovered 27 officials. I don't know if these 27 were connected together, where they stole $1 billion. I mean, I can't fathom what kind of corruption we're talking about.
Guy? Are you talking about the guy who they
not the
gave
military.
to?
No, not the military.
Because there's one guy, he's from London. You know that he used to live in London.
Yeah.
They put him as a defense ministry or something. This was years back. And what this guy did, they gave him $1 billion to go and buy weapons for Iraq. Instead, he went and bought weapons. He went and bought World War II tanks and World War II weapons to Iraq that cost around $90 million. And he pocketed the rest, and he made the runner. He came back to London. He went back to the United States.
When I went to Iraq, when I went to commenting on the children and the schools and etc. When I went to Iraq 2 years ago, maybe, I saw children selling tissues.
Yeah,
selling tissues to make a living.
Tissue boxes.
Tissues. No,
individual
tissue boxes. Actually, they gather tissues from their pockets. They put them in their pockets, and they go to the cars. There's a lot of traffic in Iraq. They go to the cars, knocking on the windows. I'm selling tissues. And they have no education. They dropped out of school.
Even in Tahrir Square now, there's a lot of the poor. They come to sell flags. They're selling. Even in this situation, they're trying to make a living. You can see.
How do you expect them to live? These people, they need to eat. They need to survive.
On this point,
how many times
there's a lot of health. There's a lot of people in Iraq with health problems. People forget this. And medication is expensive. We live in the UK and we know how expensive the medication is. It's causing us problems even in our in our government here. But in Iraq, there's a lot of people with no medication. They die at an early age. with with a lot of diseases.
Yeah.
And who's going to look after these people?
I
Who's
think
going to look after these people? Who's going to look after these kids? We've
Well,
got.
how many times have I seen videos of a 13-year-old saying that I dropped out of my school. He says, I want my life. I want to know what I'm going to do in my life. I dropped out of school trying to provide for my 2 sisters and my mother.
yeah.
A lot of times that we see these things.
It's quite popular, but I mean, on this topic, can I?
Just because
go
you
ahead, Sid.
spoke a little bit about corruption, let me show you an experience that I had in Iraq.
Sure.
This was years back as well, when I went to I was in Karbala, and I lost my identification card, my Iraqi identification card. And at that time, when you move around Iraq, you need your identification card, because people will ask you where you from, this and that, and they need to know you're from Iraq, so you're safe. So they might think you're a terrorist.
Yeah.
So anyway, one day I lost it. So I decided to go and get a new one. So before I go into the Iraqi, where they issue the identification card for you, I went there in Karbala. A guy told me, I can get it for you. By the end of the day, you'll have it. Pay me £50.
Yeah.
That's me what? What do you mean pay you?
Just a little bribe.
Yeah, just a little bribe. Yeah, £50. I'll go get it for you. Because I'll go get it for you. Within a few hours, you'll have it. It's me. No. I'd rather get it myself. Let me go see where And then I go inside. First thing they do is they tell you, okay, give us your phones. They take your phones, so you don't record. So they have everything on lockdown. Literally, they take everyone's phones. Then you start filling up these forms, application forms, one after another, paying this and that. You need a stamp, you need that. You're running around the whole day. Your whole day. And I was thinking to myself, I should have just paid that £50, man. Yeah. Then, obviously I'm joking, because you want to tackle, corruption. You have to try your best to tackle corruption.
But say that's the thing.
Listen to this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Listen to this. So I go in. I fill up the application forms and everything. Then I go to this guy, the guy who all he needs to do is just stamp it for me, laminate it, and give it to me. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Goodbye. And this guy's got 2 stars or something on his shoulder.
What does that mean for the viewers if you got 2 stars?
Like a sergeant or something, lieutenant or a sergeant or something. Yeah, and he's in this position that stamps it for you. So he's the last guy. I went through everyone, here and there. Just this one guy, he told me, okay, come back. He looks at it and he goes, come back tomorrow. I was like, sorry, mate. All it needs is just a stamp and a lamination. All you need to do is laminate and stamp it, and that's it. All the papers are done. And then he turns around and he looks at me and he goes, you don't like it? The day after tomorrow. And I'm thinking, oh my God, what the what's wrong with this guy? Yeah? What's wrong with this guy? This me, dude, I think I was traveling tomorrow or the day after. So I need my identification card, because I need to get to, there was no even airplanes at that time to Iraq. No, there was, but just to Baghdad.
Right.
But I used to come from Basra through Kuwait to Basra and whatnot. So I need my identification to go through these stop search points. So then my dad came afterwards, and my dad told me, what's going on? My dad thought, I'm causing problems. And then this means, Baba, I'm not making no problems. The guy literally, I told him, can I have it? I need to go. And he's telling me no. And he goes, what's the problem? And he goes, yeah, I told him to come after tomorrow. Why are you getting involved? I'll come back on that day. And then he keeps delaying it. He keeps delaying it. Then I just lost it. Went and spoke to the like a commander, someone who's really high position in that field, and knocked on the door, and I went and spoke to him, and I told him.
He said, give me $50.
Yeah. No, he didn't. He actually didn't. He was a nice guy. Yeah. There is good people. There are good people. Yeah, there are good people. And then he goes, what's the problem now? And then this, I've got one of your employees. I finished my paperwork. I'm from London. I need my identification card. I need to travel back tomorrow or the day after. And then he goes to me, you filled in everything? That's me. Yeah, I filled in everything. This is my paperwork. He goes, yeah, this is ready. You should just stamp and give it to you.
Just stamp.
That's it, just a stamp. Just the stamp. That's all he has to do, just a stamp. So then he takes it. he comes with me, and then it was so funny. Literally, he goes to the desk, and then the guy sees me coming with this colonel to him. He sees him, and straight away he's like, "Yes, sir. Yes, sir." It's like I'm back in Saddam Hussein's time again. Yeah. "Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. What's going on?" He goes, "My brother, my friend. I was only joking with you. Please have a seat. I'll stamp it for you right away." And he stamps it, and then he gives it to me. And this is the corruption in Iraq. Literally, if it was someone else, other people. The problem in Iraq, the people, they don't know their rights. They don't. They literally don't know their rights.
I'm reading that there's a lot of people especially from the poorest people, who they're forced to give bribes. I don't have specifics with me now. I remember reading though a lot of documents. They can't get them done without bribes. They have to go down the road to get bribes, to get things. There is a legit path, but because of the layers of corruption and whatnot, they have to go through the roads of bribery.
Look, what's the simple job in Iraq that everyone can get? You join the army. Join the army, you join the police, because they die every day because of the problems and bombs and the violence and everything that goes on in Iraq. For you to get a job in Iraq, in the army, in the Iraqi army, you have to bribe someone $500, so he can, process your application form. Yeah, you have to. You have to. And this is why we had a problem with the army before, because most of these people, they're just looking for jobs. They don't actually doing it.
I'm hearing even just basic documents people have to bribe. But if I can ask Subhan, can you play the activist art? Because this is a point I want to touch on, and just looking at the time, I think we have about half an hour maybe. We want to obviously tackle some things regarding solutions. I mean, okay, we've spoken about the corruption and all these types of things, but where do we go from here? And before we touch on that, if Subhan, do you have those pictures ready, Subhan?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, if you just put that on, please. So one thing before we move on to the solutions, just go ahead, play it when you can. Is just regarding the people, because we forget sometimes people are dying, and one of the things that I think the viewers can see now is with this art, artists are coming out, painting the faces of the people who are killed. The popular name, I think, Safa al-Sarri, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, where he was killed with the gas canister that hit his head. And these drawings are in Tahrir Square.
This is in Baghdad.
Yeah, in the square where everything is buzzing and all the people are gathered there. When you look at these drawings, you and they're very powerful, and you see that these are people, individuals, and they're being killed for what? The question: why are the government even being violent towards these people? Of course, there is violence coming from the protests, and Sheikh Al-Habib and even Sistani himself have condemned this. But these innocent people, they don't deserve to die, and this is something we it breaks the heart. And I think these pictures are very interesting to show to the viewers. Yeah, that's the one that I just mentioned there. And may Allah give peace and prosperity to Iraq. And from there, let's speak about the possibilities. No one's saying there's an easy solution, a clean, swift road forward, but there has to be something. There has to be something we can do to head in that direction, at least. Rafali, do you have any ideas where can the Iraqis take it? I know Sheikh Al-Habib had a solution.
Yeah.
But what solution are the Iraqis wanting?
There's a dispute among the protests as what is the solution to Iraq. One is saying the solution is a monarchy government. One is saying no, it is a parliamentary government. Sorry, a presidential government.
Rather than a parliament.
Rather than the parliamentary that is filled with corruption and corrupt individuals. No one knows what is the solution to Iraq. Everyone is in a headache. But there are muhallilin, siyasiyin. There are politicians from the outside trying to solve the issue in Iraq. They get a headache just opening the files and reading, trying to understand what is the solution to Iraq. One is saying this, one is saying that. Sheikh Al-Habib has put forward a solution to Iraq, and by far, or so far, according to me, and this is not from a biased perspective, according to what I've seen from other solutions that have been put forward by other politicians. Sheikh Al-Habib came on the live show around 2 weeks ago, if Sayyid Mahdi could correct me, and he made a 30 minutes video
Yes.
which is cut up now in the Arabic language, where he provided the solution to the Iraqi people. In short, he says, where there is a consensus with the protesters, there's a consensus with the protesters about this matter, that they want to remove this government. They want all of the MPs and the parliamentary government to dissolve itself. They want them to go. They've tried them for 16 years, and they know that no good will come out of this government in reality. This is what they want. Now, how do we do this? How is this accomplished? Sheikh Al-Habib gave two options. One is that a person from the government itself, a commander, a person of high rank, stands with the protesters, and empowers the protesters, and the protesters stands with him, and that is one option. Basically, a coup, you can say. You can say a coup of not necessarily a military coup, but you can say a people's coup. Let's say the people from inside the government just say, "Khalas, we will not. We don't want this government." The parties inside the parliament dissolve itself and stands with the protesters. That is one way. The other way, there's one other way also, is that the police forces and the commanders in the army and the special forces, the special ops of Baghdad, all of these people, they mutined. Mutin is, I believe it's a term that they use when they just disobey orders. Similar to what's happened in Iran, in the Iranian Revolution. In the Iranian Revolution in 1979, when the Islamic government was formed. Before that, Shahin Shah Pahlavi, what's his name? Sayyid Mahdi.
Pahlavi,
Muhammad Rida Pahlavi. He gave orders, or his representative gave orders for the army to take the streets and to wipe out the streets of Iran. Completely. Iran was filled with protesters at the time. They gave specific orders to wipe out the streets. Yet, when they reached to the streets, the protesters, by the command of Khomeini, gave flowers to them, and the army stood with the protesters, and this is how this played a crucial role.
The generals, it was still
of course,
planned, yeah.
Of course,
it's not about just giving. It's not about just giving a flower, and it has to be planned. I mean, with every uprising, brother Ali, that when you see every uprising that happens in every single country, the people, no matter how many people come out, millions can come out, it won't change anything if you don't have the backing of individuals, like you said, like Sheikh Al-Habib mentioned the other day. The generals, the commanders, the army, the police forces, they have to join up with the demonstrators.
Yeah.
They'll have to. If you don't, you're living in a dream world. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. These people, if the Iraqi government wants now, the only reason the demonstrations are still happening till now is because of the Marja'iyah. It's because of Sayyid Ali Sistani, to be honest with you. It's only because of him, because he's backing the protesters. If he just turns it, if he just, says, I got nothing to do with this, the second day, those Iraqi politicians will send the whole army with their Iranian militias, and they will massacre everyone. They'll kill 4,000-5,000 people in one day. Everyone will get scared and go home, and they will never demonstrate again, and we won't see another demonstration until another 10 years. So we've got an advantage now. You've got the Marja'iyah backing the people. They're standing with you, and you've got someone as powerful as Sayyid Ali Sistani, standing with the people. We can do a lot of changes in Iraq. We can do a lot of change. We can change the ball around.
This is the exact solution of Sheikh. What Sheikh proposed.
What is Sheikh's proposition?
He says basically the protesters have been protesting in Baghdad for almost 3 months now.
Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, for almost 3 months now. Blood is being shed. No progress is being. There's no progress being had, or we're not seeing progress in this protest in Baghdad. in Baghdad specifically. They are in the political capital, let's say in the political capital of Iraq, and nothing is really being shed. No, nothing is really being done, but blood is being shed.
So what should they do?
Sheikh Al-Habib proposed that the only way and the most safer way, from
Effective,
an
the
angle,
most effective
most
way.
effective way,
Yeah.
most effective way also, and from an angle that no blood will be shed, no harm would come, and it's the safest way. The most safest way is for the protesters to make tawzi' al-adwar, which is sharing the roles, to share the roles.
Yeah.
One group protests in Baghdad, where they are in the political party, in the political capital of Iraq, and the other in Najaf, the religious capital in Iraq. He proposed, Sheikh Al-Habib, for the protesters to go to Najaf and to scream, protest out and exclaim out loud that Sayyid Sistani comes and relieves us from what we are in. Because Sayyid Sistani, he with one line, with one verdict, he can write, for example, as an example, Bismillah, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad, etc. All the parliament has been dismissed, like this, and all political parties have been dismissed. For example, within 24 hours, you would see the commanders from the governments, the political parties, the leaders, all of them come and kiss the hand of Sayyid Sistani and say Sam'an wa ta'a.
But Ali,
But what is Sheikh?
The thing is, if Sayyid Ali Sistani, you have to look at it from his point of view as well. For him to come out and say something like that, he hasn't seen that support from these generals.
This is exactly what it was.
From the commanders,
yeah.
from the commanders. If these commanders and these generals and the police commanders, the Hashd al-Sha'bi, well, the Hashd al-Sha'bi commanders are now in Iran's hand, unfortunately. But the soldiers of the Hashd al-Sha'bi, they all follow Sayyid Ali Sistani. If Sayyid Ali Sistani wants to dissolve the whole of Hashd al-Sha'bi now, he can easily dissolve it.
Look.
These commanders, just one second, let me just make this point clear. If these commanders go to Sayyid Ali Sistani, and tell him, sir, Sayyidina, you're in charge. We follow you. We have no respect for this government. Then he can turn around, Ali. Sayyid Ali Sistani, then, and only then he can turn around and tell the whole parliament to, and dismiss them and let them go through trials, because now the government, they're not scared of anything. They do not care. The worst thing that you could do to any politician in Iraq now, literally the worst thing, you put him under so much pressure, then he'll catch a flight and he'll go to one of the countries in Europe and live life with all the money that he stole. That's the worst thing you could do to any politician in Iraq. Because there's no threat. There's no threat. And the only threat that they're scared of is Sayyid Ali Sistani. One word from him, with all of these demonstrations that are happening now, the Iraqi Prime Minister, Adil Abdel Mahdi, would have never resigned without
that's our next point.
Let's just Ali just finish your point, because I cut you off.
No, this is exactly what you.
You took it there exactly. That's what I wanted.
Do you wanna continue?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
You said it, mashallah.
What Samahat Sheikh Yasir Al-Habib was what he mentioned and he spoke about during 2 weeks ago, I think it was. He asked the demonstrators, to go to Sayyid Ali Sistani's house. Not literally outside his house, like
on the road,
in Najaf, in Najaf,
Let's say it's Ali Sistani, hear the protesters. Let him see that the protesters have come to him, because this is the thing with the Marja'iyah. The Marja'iyah would not step forward; they would wait for the people to step forward so they can step forward. This is how the Marja'iyah works. They want the people to come to them. When the people are ready, then we step forward. This is
but then, Brother, you get in that. So when Sheikh's called for this, you got a lot of propaganda online where people were saying how.
We'll come to that, inshallah.
It's very similar. It's very similar. It's very similar to what we're going through at the moment. We are all we are waiting, inshallah, for the reappearance of the Imam. Right? But if all the Shia come out and they say, we want the reappearance of the Imam, millions of us, then you will see results. The Imam inshallah he will reappear.
Inshallah.
But we're not actually doing that. So you could do the same thing with Sayyid Ali Sistani. You can go to him and tell him, we want you as our leader, Same thing as who did this with Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam.
We'll come to that, inshallah.
Yeah, shall we come to that?
We'll
Okay.
come to that, inshallah.
Well, I want to know.
There's a point to mention, just a
Tafadhal,
follow-up point,
tafadhal.
which is inshallah, a good point. When Sheikh al-Habib said this, the day that he said this, 1 week later, Abdul Mahdi resigned. 1 week later. It's not a coincidence.
After Sheikh called the protesters to go
Shias,
to.
after the Sheikh called the protesters to go to Najaf, and exclaim out loud that we want Sayyid Sistani to step in.
1 week later.
1 week later, the protesters were in Kufa. The protesters were in Kufa. A bit, just for people who don't know, Kufa is like a bit outside of Najaf. Okay, it's
7
outside
kilometers,
Najaf.
something like
Our
that.
center. How much was it? 7?
7, yes.
7 kilometers from Najaf. They went towards Najaf. They went towards Najaf within 1 week. Sayyid Sistani's representative read his statements, applied pressure on the Adil Abdul Mahdi. He said, I resign. So we see that this is truly the step
A
forward.
big step forward.
This is
a
the step
big,
forward.
yeah,
A big
a
step
big
forward.
step forward. Yeah.
But the thing is, when this happened, now let's take it a step at a time, and we have to keep an eye on the clock here. We've got about, I think, 20 minutes, and we still got a few things to speak on this topic. When this happened, propaganda came back out. You saw this on Facebook. You saw this on channels. I think one prominent one is Al-Ahad, which was claiming, strangely enough, that the Sheikh was calling for the people to kill Sistani. It went to that level. It started off, I heard people saying Sheikh was calling them to attack Sistani or his or where he, the place that he is. Then it was kill. As if Sheikh is calling for him to kill. Let's show this video quickly, if Subhan can play it. It's the one called Lahad Propaganda, and just let me know when that's ready, inshallah.
Inshallah.
And this is the video that they produced. It's quite funny, and we'll obviously comment on it and correct some of this issue. I was getting viewers contacting me through the Rafida phone, asking us to clarify this. And just let me know it's ready before you play it, because I want to make a quick point.
Even
Sorry, David. Just I'll say this point is a brother from India contacted us as well, and he said that on the minbar in a Friday prayer, there was a mu'ammam, a sheikh, Shia, claims to be Shia. I don't know his aqid actually, it could be, but he was saying on the minbar that Sheikh is calling for Sheikh Al-Habib is calling for the people to kill Sistani.
Yeah.
It's reached even to that level.
It's reached to that level because Iran has the power. Iran pays a lot of money to these individuals, for people to spread their propaganda.
And people.
Why is Iran spreading this propaganda? Because when Sheikh said this, Iran knows this is the biggest threat to them. If they know they can't step up to Sayyid Ali Sistani. Sayyid Ali Sistani turns around and and he goes, we don't want the influence of Iran in Iraq anymore. You take your generals and your army or whatever you have in Iraq and go back to Iran. And we don't want your agendas and your we don't want you here. And Iran knows this is a big threat. Iran knows this is a big threat. So what did? They said, okay, let's try and and give them. So it's fake news. Fake news.
David, go ahead with your comment before we play this video.
No, that's what I want to say about the sheikh who speak in Urdu.
Is that you wanted to mention? So I do apologize. Sapan, go ahead. Sorry, David, do you want to say something?
No, it's okay.
Go ahead with the video, Sapan.
Maybe it's titled on the Al-Ahd channel. Sheikh.
بصراحة عليكم أن تضغطوا على المرجعية، عليكم أن تتوجهوا إلى النجف الأشرف. يعني أنتم كأنكم أخطأتم البوصلة. أنتم تتظاهرون في بغداد، عليكم أن تتظاهروا في النجف الأشرف، عليكم أن تحيطوا بمنزل السيد السيستاني.
So that was the propaganda disaster that they attempted. Were the subtitles clear for the audience?
Subtitles, I'm not sure.
I think the videos were there, but anyways, this video is circulated around. It's easy to find. They were just saying that, of course, Sheikh In the beginning, they write in Arabic that the Sheikh is calling for the killing of Sayyid Sistani.
Wallah.
Absolutely hilarious. This channel needs to close down. They need to shut down and rethink their whole existence on this earth, because what a joke for any media platform to make something such an outlandish claim, and then they play the video of Sheikh speaking, and he doesn't. There's no mention of killing. What deceit is this? We really question the people behind this channel. But clarify this for us, Brother Ali. Is the Sheikh calling for the violence of Sistani?
The Sheikh clearly says, off the top of my head right now, because the videos, unfortunately, I cannot see the video and the subtitles. Off the top of my head, the Sheikh is saying that you are protesting in Baghdad, you must turn towards the Najaf. You must go towards Sayyid Sistani and seek refuge in him and strengthen yourselves. He says, he does this, he says iltiham, meaning strengthen yourselves with the Sayyid Sistani so you can have success in your revolution. But at a point that he says surround. He says surround the house of Sayyid Sistani. Over here, to be honest, even the clip itself, if they were to just think with their brains a little bit without being biased, because they put this thing on Sheikh. Even the clip that they used does not say that that Sheikh even hinted to an attack. He
specifically said
he means surround as in surround Najaf, surround the roads to Sayyid Sistani and call to him.
But the Sheikh specifically said to not to be just, to be balanced, not to the video. This is another video which I think we can play actually. Subhan, play the second video, which is Sheikh Al Habib comments. And just let me know when that's ready, because this video, Sheikh, clarifies a few things. And just to the viewers, unfortunately, we didn't have enough time. There was a lot of material we could have translated, where Sheikh explains and replies.
Sheikh Al Habib actually responds to this claim.
He responds in fully, which we didn't have time to translate.
He responds to this claim of Al Ahad channel stating that Sheikh Yasser Al Habib orders, or London, they call him.
London orders
the death or the killing of Sayyid Sistani by the statements of Yasser Al-Habib.
The video is ready.
Yeah, go ahead, Subhan.
Inshallah.
المرجعية تقدمت كثيرا، خصوصا لما بدأ الإخوة المتظاهرين يقتربون إلى النجف الأشرف. بحمد الله شفنا هذا القرار اللي طير رئيس الوزراء. استمروا بثورتكم هذه إن شاء الله، ولكن استقيموا، اعتدلوا، لا تروحوا صوب المحرمات ولا الشعارات الفارغة.
Wrong video. Yeah, wrong video. So I don't know again if we had some technical issues. The subtitles were not present. I do apologize. Really, if there's a big shortcoming from us actually, which is we didn't. There's a lot of things we wanted to translate.
That's the same video, but the titles are not there.
Go ahead, Subhan.
Pardon?
You want to say something, Subhan?
There's a. Did you mean comments or response?
We'll leave that video now. I think there was an issue from the editing side, but just to summarize it to the viewers, the Sheikh Al-Habib was telling the viewers that we shouldn't be we should be balanced, we should be just, we shouldn't go towards anything that's haram, and even to the point where Sheikh was saying about the chants and the slogans you use, you should be careful in that regard and not to use slogans that don't have any meaning or any real purpose. There is a video where Sheikh replies. We can't play that. That's not translated.
That's very unfortunate.
Al-Habib, give us a summary of Sheikh's reply. I think that's at least the least we can do.
He basically says, this is off the top of my memory, because I was attempting to edit it the other night and translate it. So unfortunately, because of the pressing matter, and we had a different topic in plan. We had a complete different topic in plan. We had a topic regarding Imam Mahdi alayhi salam and the end of times and etc. But because of the pressing matter in Iraq, we were kind of forced, and we felt obligated to bring awareness to this and speak about this. Off the top of my head, Sheikh Al-Habib says that a friend of his, or one of the scholars, contacted him through one of the wasa'it, and he told him, he informed him of this khabar, he informed him of this news, that Al-Ahd channel has posted a video against you, stating that you have ordered the killing of Sayyid Sistani. And Sheikh Al-Habib says in the video, maybe we can translate it later and upload it as a separate video. Maybe we can make a montage of some sorts. Maybe we can do that so the viewers actually know the full story. Sheikh Al-Habib is shocked over here, and he says, I am calling for the death of Sayyid Sistani. I am calling the protesters to seek refuge in Sayyid Sistani. For he is the only resort. He is the only resort for the success of this revolution. He's saying to go to Sayyid Sistani and seek refuge in his marja'iyya, in his power. For no one can actually remove all of the political parties, remove all of the parliament and all what's in it with one sentence. With one sentence. This is what Sayyid Sistani is saying. This is what Shaykh al-Habib is saying. Not that not that, and they have the audacity, subhanallah. Yani people know, people can't be fooled. People won't be fooled. They put the video of Sayyid Sistani's picture be getting banned. This video
came for many years.
Months ago, 3 months ago, exactly in the beginning of the protest in Iraq, and it was done by the Kurds. It was done by the Kurds, yani meaning the non-Shia, not by the Shia. Yani they put it, subhanallah.
They fabricate stuff.
They fabricate it. They put it in a perfect mix.
Fake news.
And they put it in a perfect mix and said that Sayyid Sistani, Shaykh al-Habib ordered Sayyid Sistani to be killed. And na'udhu billah, and his followers burnt his picture.
I think, listen, I think any rational person can see through these lies, and I really, from the bottom of my heart, I call to the Shia to stop falling. It seems like we're very susceptible to propaganda. Just go ahead and look first when someone says something to you, when you hear something on the news, on whatever channel that may be, or any post even on Facebook, something comes to you. Check yourself what the case is. Not very difficult to find the reality. This should be done. You should apply this mindset to anyone, whether it's someone you support or someone you are against. Be fair, rational people. Let us go and actually speak about the solution now. I think this is the heart of our. I
think we touched on that.
Just regarding the video. This video was made by Al-Ahad. Al-Ahad TV belongs to Qais al-Khaz'ali. Qais al-Khaz'ali is Iranian backed. He's got militias, that get funded by Iran. They have a strong influence in Iraq. A lot of the stabbing and the killing that's happening now are due to these people, and like I said, Iran feels, they're under pressure. It's a big threat coming towards them. Their influence in Iraq is near to an end. If these demonstrations don't work in Iraq, the America's looking to move in their troops into Iraq, and God forbid we'll have another civil war in Iraq because of this, because Iran does not want to let go. They do not want to let go, and we urge the Iranians to leave. By the way, when I say Iran, I don't mean the Iranian people. I mean Khamenei. And
we forgot to mention something. Sorry to cut.
Go ahead, David.
We forgot something is very important, that the Iraqi people they used to protest against the Iranian involved in Iraq. They burned the consulate in Najaf. We forgot to mention that, which is very important. They even
when did this happen for the viewers?
It's happened a few weeks ago.
It happened twice. It happened first of all, it happened in Karbala. In Karbala city.
In Najaf also. In Najaf they burned the consulate.
And then in Najaf, it happened in Karbala, and then it escalated, and then it started to happen in Najaf. They burned down. They took the Iranian flag down, and they put the Iraqi flag up. Thank God they didn't blame it. Did they blame it on us?
No.
Yeah. But and then Iran turns around afterwards, and they start saying, Israel, Zionists, America, come on, it's just ridiculous. You've got millions of people now in Iraq rising up against Iran. What? They're all agents? They all work for America and Israel?
Every Iraqi people.
To be honest with you,
Say you have two options in life. You're either pro-Iran or you're a CIA agent. You don't have there's nothing else.
There is. Of course there is. And
did you not get my sarcasm?
To be honest, people, the Shia, specifically us in Europe and in the Western country, we have to distance ourselves from Iran. We have to. Literally, we have to. So Iran is a terrorist country. The Iranian government.
Not the people. We love the people.
Yeah, we love the people. I'm talking about the government. I'm talking about the government. I'm talking about Khamenei and his regime. They're a bunch of terrorists. They killed people. You know, now on the Iraqi social media, you know, on the fake news, you know, the so-called Hashd al-Sha'bi. They call them Hashd al-Sha'bi, but they're not.
Exactly.
We like the Hashd al-Sha'bi, the people who fought against, you know, terrorism and ISIS. But the social media, Iran controls it, and now Iran started to post. They started to say, you know, the Sayyid Ali Sistani's life is in danger. America are planning to kill him. How dare you? How many Ayatollahs have you killed, Khamenei or Iranian regime? How many people till now we have in prison, in Iranian prisons, who are Ayatollahs and Shia people in Iran? How many people have you killed? How many people did you put in prison? How can you point a finger at United States and, you know, at America and say, America are looking to kill him? It's ridiculous. You know, people are fed up of your lies. Literally, we are fed up of the of
people
their
are
lies.
tired, man.
Yeah, we're literally tired. The Shia need to educate themselves, brothers and sisters, please, especially the ones in
forgive
UK
me, Said,
and Western.
Forgive me, Said, because I don't want us to divert this podcast to focus on Iran exclusively. Although Brother David has prepared a video for us, and I think we'll show this and let David comment, and we'll leave the Iran discussions for a future podcast where there's too much to speak about. So Pan, go ahead with this video. Just for the viewers, this is the anti-Iranian protests happening in Iraq. So if Sapan can play that video, inshallah ta'ala.
حاليا من داخل القنصلية الإيرانية يا عالم أهالي وثوار النجف من داخل القنصلية الإيرانية يا عالم كهرباء طلعوا حلوة بالنعال أنا بدينا بالنعال استلم حلوة قاموا شباب الديوانية حلوة
Wrapping up. So that's those are some videos. There's many of these videos. These are just a few of these are Iraqi citizens. With his slipper, he's beaten the face of Khomeini, and
that's the same.
They're burning things. Go ahead, David. What's this about? I mean, we already discussed it briefly, but
the people, they get tired about Iran, because Iran, they get involved in Iraq and they don't bring good things. They only use their interests. The people, that's too much now. They use the propaganda to say, like we said previously, they say if you're not with Iran, you're CIA agent. So now there are 40 million Iraqi CIA agent. That's that now? No, that's ridiculous. All of the Iraqi people, that's too much. That's too much. I don't want to go in this topic, but even in Iran, there's protest.
In Iran right now?
Very big one also. So everyone is tired of
agents.
I'm sure that's my, let's say, prophecy. I'm sure 100% in our life we will see the collapse of this regime. I'm sure we will. Inshallah. Inshallah we will.
Yeah, you were telling me you don't see much life left in the regime.
They reach the end.
They're squeezing the last drops they have.
Yeah. They use the last weapon of the accusation or so on, but they will collapse. I'm sure. I'm sure about that.
Inshallah, I mean, Iran being a tyrannical regime, we do pray to Allah to relieve the Ummah, and the big issue from our side is obviously they're deviating the Muslims in terms of their Aqidah, which is a bigger issue. But Ali, just to ask you, you were speaking about Sheikh Al-Habib's solutions. I don't think you touched upon the actual solution where, because you were discussing with me this the other day, where Sheikh Al-Habib suggested, for example, that there's a certain number of votes that will take down.
The solution.
Did you mention this? I don't know if I missed it.
I believe I missed it. I did not get into that. Inshallah, we'll do that now. The solution مبدئيا. The first step, that the protesters go to Najaf, which they have done, mashallah, and make the atmosphere for the marja so that he can step in. And with his verdicts stating that the parliament is dismissed and all political parties also, with this all of the commanders will come and obey the verdict of the marja. From there, there can't be a new government immediately. There can't be a voting for a new government immediately. In that period, there must be a period of 10 years. What Sheikh called it, Dawla al-Amniya. The how do you translate it, Sayyid Mahdi? Ad-Dawla al-Amniya. It is a very well.
It's similar to a state of an emergency.
Yeah, it's similar to a state of emergency. Similar state of emergency where this emergency is formed. This
Is it an emergency government?
It's an emergency government.
Yeah. Okay.
It needs to be done in a period of 10 years. If it's less, that's even better. But in a period of 10 years, there must be one power, which is who? The Marja'iyya. Sayyid Sistani's Marja'iyya. There must be one power.
He has full authority.
Full authority. Ishraf. He is the one who controls the Iraq at this stage, the 10-year stage. In these 10-year stage, all of the political parties gone.
Dismissed.
All of them. And bear in mind, they have militias also.
Yeah.
And they will try to fight, of course, the verdict of Sayyid Sistani. There may be a civil war because of this. But because of the people of the parties, the commanders who are somewhat honorable and have somewhat of integrity, they will stand with Sayyid Sistani, as it was proven in Hazj Shtabi thing,
Right.
where they all obeyed the command of the Marja, the verdict of the Marja. All political parties are dismissed. Militias, all the militias of the parties, of these political parties, these corrupt parties to mention, they become in one army, being the united Iraqi army. All the militias, all of the soldiers, each and every political party who has militias and so on, they all dismiss themselves and join the Iraqi army to strengthen the Iraqi army once again. That Iraqi army that used to shake the nations. They used to shake the nations. A strengthened Iraqi army, and during this period of 10 days, the army is rebuilt. The police force is rebuilt. The schools are rebuilt. Hospitals are built. Houses, electricity, water. In this emergency state, all what has been deprived of the Iraqi people for years comes back.
Really, tell us about the structure though, because these things, for them to happen, there has to be some structure that is shifting the country in a good direction. For example, if I'm understanding that there would be an appointed prime minister. Is this after the rebuilding?
This is where I wanted to go.
In this period is for the purpose of rebuilding infrastructure.
Yes,
and the Marja is in authority at this stage. And there's no government.
There's no government. There's no actual government. It's an emergency states government. You can say this. An emergency states government.
There's no parliament.
There is no parliament. There is no this discussing and corruption.
Well, I'm with you.
Yes?
Okay, carry on.
Where were we?
So do you have this period of infrastructure rebuilding?
Yes. After the 10-year period of rebuilding Iraq to what it once were. After the state of rebuilding, there will be a public vote.
Okay.
A public vote of the number that was mentioned by Sheikh as a quick number that came to his mind was 10,000. The Iraqi people can vote can elect a new prime minister that they choose,
right.
and he gets power and he comes to power. If the Iraqi people decide somewhat that this prime minister is not doing what is needed, this prime minister has given us false promises. They have the authority, the people of Iraq, they have authority to vote, and if the voting reaches 10,000, the Iraqi prime minister is dismissed,
or whichever number is suitable,
number is suitable. The number 10,000 was because in the British law, you can say, in the British law, it requires 100,000 voters in order for what the people want to be discussed in Parliament.
Yes.
Sheikh Al-Habib is saying no. The people require some amount of voters. Mabda'iyan, the number was mentioned was 10,000, but it's probably going to be more than that since Iraq is much bigger than London.
Our concern in our discussions is that if 10,000 votes, any group can come and gather 10,000, and every day they knock off the president.
Yes, you can imagine it won't be exactly 10,000.
No, it's not knock off the president. It's putting the president into question. Into questioning. Like every time. Why did you do this? Why did you do this? So you kind of have a big stick or a sword on their necks, and every time they want to do something dodgy, they'll be under question.
Sorry, I'll give it to you, Brother Ali. I just want to mention, because I can imagine a lot of people, they think like, okay, this is the system, it's a bit bare-boned. Of course, there's a lot more intricacies to it, there's a lot more technicalities to this idea. This is a very general...
focus about the number.
It's not the matter even not the number, even the protocol of how everything goes. It's a general idea which, because a lot of people, when Sheikh Habib brings an idea, they look at any small thing to try and break it down. Look at the general idea, and of course it can be implemented in a number of ways. I'm just saying this for those to calm down, that usually they don't think straight about these things. But go ahead, Ravali, sorry.
This way of election of electing a prime minister would apply force on the prime minister to fulfill what he promised.
Yeah.
If the prime minister like this, he twists it a little bit, or he fails in
any scent of corruption,
he risks himself losing power. So as soon as he comes into power, as soon as the Iraqi people elect this prime minister, he's completely pressured. He knows that if I fail with a hint, or if I fail with an inch of what, or if I fail to fulfill what I have promised, I may lose my power. So this is, and it only takes some amount of voters to get me out of my power, to get me out of my position.
And what is just it's the marja with that retains the authority.
It's the marja that runs things.
Yeah, but he retains the authority to remove the president.
Yes,
or the prime minister.
based on the Iraqi people, based on the voters of the Iraqi people.
Until the moment of emergency is finished. For the marja will wait
this is
for
after
10
emergency.
years.
This is after emergency.
He will wait for 10 years until this moment, and after he will...
No, it'll be the 10 years of emergency period where they're rebuilding, and then this phase comes on.
Yes.
And we go for presidential normal.
Yes, no problem.
Yeah.
Yes, this is what I was saying, that this will apply
pressure. This is the main key
pressure
point.
on the prime minister to fulfill what he promised, and he knows that if I fail with one promise that I made, I may risk losing my position.
Yes.
And in this way, we would be able to run Iraq.
Yes.
Iraq would be able to be a success. How do I say? A successful government and a country that came back to his haiba.
And it builds barriers against corruption. That's the main thing. You know, we'll have to be wrapping up here.
The door of corruption is closed when it comes to this.
Of course, I mean,
it's closed.
The thing is, you know what the issue is?
If the people's Iraq, sorry, I can't.
No.
If the people just even sense that there's a corruption, everything's done. Everything's done because of the power of the marja'iyya in the end of the day.
And the thing is now, the country is so drenched in corruption that you can't clean up the mess. You need to have a drastic step that shifts the country in another direction. But brothers, I think we're going to have to be wrapping it up here.
Can I ask a request, or can I put a request forward to Brother Abdul Malik to extend 15 minutes at least, just 15 minutes
for what purpose, brother?
To the podcast, just to see the comments and to read what our people, our Shia, commented on the solution of Sheikh.
Inshallah, go ahead, brother.
Can we go ahead and do that?
Inshallah.
If Subhan can open the Facebook post where the comments will be where you will go through the comments, inshallah. Let me know when that is done, bi'idhnillah ta'ala.
Inshallah.
So this is social media, Facebook. It's regarding what people are saying on the topic of Sheikh's idea or against the propaganda.
It's against the propaganda, and one comment was actually questioning after one brother actually removed the propaganda and actually cleared up the propaganda. One I believe sister maybe. One sister commented that how can Sheikh make this? How can Sheikh give this as a solution?
Yes.
So I'd just like to respond to this as quickly. I'm having trouble actually finding.
Subhan, is that ready?
Yeah.
So pull that up, inshallah.
Okay.
And obviously you want to leave us unmuted for this because we're going to be commenting.
Yeah.
Inshallah ta'ala.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brother Ali.
I'm facing an issue with finding the post, unfortunately.
Subhan, if you have the link, send that over to Brother Ali, and then he can comment on it.
Just while you're searching for that, just to elaborate on Iraq. Iraq is rich of resources.
Sorry, sir, just close to
Iraq is rich. You know, they have a lot of resources. They have a very strong manpower. It's a shame. I mean, these countries are all, you know, they all have their influence in Iraq, like Iran, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, whoever's, you know, all these countries in our region that surround Iraq.
So, you can bring it back to us until
Iraq is in such a, they have a strategic country. They can play all of these countries against each other until, you know, because they have tyrants as well. These countries have every single one of them have tyrants as well, and they don't want peace in Iraq because they know if they have peace in Iraq, their people will learn from Iraq and they will start uprising against them. So no one wants peace in Iraq. No one wants.
All the country who surrender Iraq, they want to stay in this position. That's the most important thing that the people have to know.
May Allah hasten the parents of the Imam alayhi salam.
All of them.
This is one of the questions that was posted.
Go ahead, Subhan, if you can put the post up, inshallah.
One brother actually cleared up what Sheikh was saying. He said the Sheikh is clearly saying that if you the protesters want this revolution to be successful, then you should resort to the Marja'iyya in Najaf and strengthen yourself with it, and that you should request from the Marja'iyya to give a verdict dismissing the governments and all of the corrupt parties, and for resorting to Sayyid Sistani's Marja'iyya is the only hope for the success of this revolution. One sister, I believe her name is Zainabiyya, who was the I believe one of the admins of this group. She says, okay, so it has a context, but that's a weak defense. That's a weak defense. Inciting an angry crowd is one of the most dangerous things. Do you remember what's happened to Sheikh Hassan Shahada? Where,
how does that relate?
I have no idea.
How? Sorry, that's the first time hearing that. Where is the relation to Hassan Shahata to this? That Hassan Shahata was Nawasib that was sent by
Nawasib people.
And they were sent him because he was speaking the haqq, and obviously the shaitan.
He was doing tabligh for Shah Islam in
He was an open Rafidi, proud Rafidi that done open bara, and Nawasib hunted him down. How does that
To be
relate?
honest with you, I was
my head's spinning right now.
Head spin when I read this comment.
Yeah.
It really has nothing got to do what Sheikh is saying. But she's saying that this solution of bringing the angry, between two quotations, angry protesters to the house of Sayyid Sistani or to Sayyid Sistani is not a good solution.
Right.
We respond to this from two directions, from two angles. This solution that Sheikh has mentioned is both a politically sound solution and a religiously sound solution. One, politically, because of what you have mentioned, that the only resort to dismiss all of the political parties is through the Marja'iyya. However, her saying is that you should, by inciting an angry crowd to go to Sayyid Sistani, that is a wrong move. I say, no, this is the religious move. This is what the people done.
Yes.
If you go back to history, the time of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam.
Who's going to go and burn down Sistani's place?
Who's going to do
in
it?
Iraq? Come on.
This is the spiritual father here.
Be realistic.
We're
please.
speaking about the spiritual father. We're speaking about
Iran, literally, I'm very serious. I'm deadly serious. Iran is the only country.
Sayyid, we will have you back in our Iran episode, and we'll give you time on Iran. Sayyid, every time coming back to the Iran point. I'm with you though, I'm with you.
Let's be honest
because
here.
they ruined Iraq. That's
No
why.
doubt,
They
no
literally
doubt.
ruined
No
Iraq.
doubt,
They
no
destroyed
doubt.
Iraq.
This is the protesters' spiritual father. It's their marja.
Yeah.
They would go and burn his house. Na'udhu billah. They would go and attack his house. It's clear. I will not go into that again. We already explained what Sheikh mentioned. But I want to touch on this. This is a religiously sound solution also. How is inciting a crowd to go to a house and calling them to come to them and applying pressure on the Marja'iyya to come and save them is a religiously sound solution? I say, let's go back to the time of Amir al-Mu'mineen and how did he come to power? Salawatullahi alayhi. When the killers of Uthman killed Uthman. Coming to Uthman again, inshallah. When the people killed Uthman, when the Egyptians and the Basrans and the people from Medina itself killed Uthman and put him in hell, inshallah. The people remained without a power, without a governor. The people remained without a khalifa, without an authority.
Yes.
For days. There's a difference of narrations. One say 3 days, one say 7 days, etc. 8 days. What did Malik al-Ashtar do? Malik al-Ashtar, alayhi salam, as Amir al-Mu'mineen says, كان لي كما كنت لرسول الله. Malik was to me as I was to the prophets, to the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him. Malik is Malik, Radwanullahi ta'ala alayhi wa alayhi salam. He gathered the people of Medina, gathered the protesters against Uthman, the killers of Uthman also, gathered the Muhajirin, gathered the Ansar, and went and he said, if you want your solution, let's go to the house of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. Yes, he bought the angry crowd. Yes, he bought the angry crowd, although they're not angry in this what we were saying, was to seek refuge. He bought this crowd to the house of Amir al-Mu'mineen, the house of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, and they all surrounded his house, calling him to come to power, calling him to give him allegiance. And Amir al-Mu'min, he was, of course, he refused in the beginning, but then he accepted.
Yeah.
This is exactly the same situation.
No.
I don't see the difference, Aslan, between the difference. The people of Medina and the Muhajirin and the Ansar went to Amir al-Mu'min for what? For them to seek refuge in his power. Can
you imagine if back in that time there was people or any wise individual that was telling people, let's go towards Imam Ali alayhi salam, and then there was people replying saying, how dare you want us to go to Imam Ali alayhi salam and you will make a problem. Subhanallah. We go to the people of wisdom, we go to the people of knowledge. That's where we direct our attention. That's why we're in this mess, because we haven't been doing that all this time. But yani, may Allah,
just to make the two connections.
Sure.
As we mentioned with Medina and how Malik al-Ashtar gathered the crowd, the masses, to go and to the house of to go to the house of Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam and surround his house and call him for him to help them.
Yeah.
So did Sheikh Yasser al-Habib when he came out 2 weeks ago, telling the people that you are Protestant in Baghdad, you should also protest in Najaf. As you are Protestant in Baghdad, the political party, as you are Protestant in Baghdad, the political capital, you should also protest in Najaf, the religious capital. Go to the house of Sayyid Sistani and seek refuge in him, for he is the only resort for the success of this revolution.
Inshallah.
So,
I mean, we'll wrap it up here, dear viewers. If Subhan, you can just play the last tweet and we'll wrap it up on that. This is a very important tweet, very important point to be made here, which is from a Twitter account by the name of Ahlul Bayt. I think this supporter, this Twitter account is a supporter who's engaged with us in the past, and their question is, a simple question: what can the mu'mineen worldwide do to help Iraq? This question, we can do a whole podcast on this question itself, because what can the mu'mineen do to help Iraq? What can the mu'mineen do to help mankind? Because we have in our hands, as the Shia of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wasalam, we have in our hands the savior, we have in our hands the very thing that will eliminate this corruption. We see this corruption in Iraq, but we also see it in across the world. We see it across that whole region, the MENA region. And we see it in the West. Let's not fool ourselves. Let's not pretend we are here in the West, in UK or America or whatnot, and we're not living in corruption. The Western governments are from the most corrupt governments, and their crimes far outweigh the crimes of, for example, the Iraqi government. It's just that the state and the situation of that region results in it manifests itself in a more clear manner.
I believe we have a call.
Do we have a call?
I believe we have a call.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Let's take the call. Who do we have, Subhan?
We have Nicolai from California on the line. If you'll just give me a minute to set everything.
Hi,
Hello, Nicolai, can you hear me?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum
assalam wa rahmatullah. Nicolai, you're with us live here on the Rafida Roundtable. Please go ahead. What's your question or comment?
Yes, my question. I have a couple. I was a group of people who were very, very interested in what's going on with Iraq and just praying for the country to make sure, hopefully, God willing, it's going to get better soon. Which is, it's so much fake news, and you guys seem to have a really good pulse. What about the hydrocarbon law? What do you think? Is that going to make, do you think that's going to help the country? Are the citizens aware of the hydrocarbon law and the federal act within the Constitution, and also about what do you think needs to happen first, as far as, is it housing first, is it jobs first, is it getting the political climate to change, is currency being reinstated? What do you think needs to happen first so that things can get on the right track? And I know, of course, getting Mahdi out and Malaysia out completely, and but who? And I'm hearing you talk about al-Sistani. So what do you guys think as far as what needs to happen first?
Well, this is firstly, unfortunately, the first half of your question was a bit shaky in terms of the line, but you did clear up towards the end. From my side, I mean, there's a practical solution that we've presented, and Sheikh Al-Habib has presented, that we've gone into a bit today, and maybe Ali Habib can touch on that in terms of the first steps that can be taken. But from my side, I think before anything can be taken, this is an issue, I think, for the people first and foremost to face and look towards their Imam alayhi salatu wasalam. This was actually what I was about to comment before your call, so it ties in with it, which is that the real solution to corruption that we face is the Imam ﷺ and his reappearance. The more that the Shia Ummah recognize this and apply this in their lives and put their hope in the Imam ﷺ, the more we can come closer to his reappearance. But I think you're talking about short steps, practical things that we can do now to head into a good direction. So I don't know if Sayyid Mehdi or David or Brother Ali, anyone wants to say. She's asking, from what I understand, and please just to chime in if we haven't fully understood your question, is what are the first steps that we can do? What are the first things we can do now in this situation? The obvious one, Sheikh, is Al-Habib is saying, go towards Sayyid Sistani. But what else can we do as initial first steps?
Go ahead.
I mean, Ali said the solution to Sheikh Yasser Al-Habib's solution, but we need awareness. We need awareness. We need to show the world, what Iraq's going through.
Yeah.
The people of the other countries, our surrounding countries, they need to put pressure on their governments to not get involved in Iraq, and and hope the best for Iraq. I mean, there's a lot of steps we can do to save Iraq. Well, the first step is to actually get rid of the government. We have to. If we don't get rid of the government, what the government will do now is they'll just bring someone else to take power. Someone else who's another.
So we are with the Iraqi people and the government being dismissed, and we can't see another clearer way other than going through the road of the Marja'iyah. There needs to be a unification, sister, and please again interject me if I'm not on the same line as your question exactly, because the first half was unfortunately not very clear. But yeah, there needs to be. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm sorry to interrupt you. No, it's just that, there's so much, and we see the suffering through all the videos. Thank God for social media. We see the suffering. We see the Turkish building that, we see the paintings, and we see protesters out there, and our hearts go out to them, and we're thinking, well, what is the first thing? Of course, the government, getting that constitution enacted, the 2020 budget, making sure that everyone has their share.
Dear sister, for in our position here, we have no hope in the government whatsoever. We don't see any solution. The governmental system that's in place now is too riddled in corruption to its core that it can be said that it's impossible to clean it up. It's corruption that's so tied in every aspect of the government. You need some master plan that I don't think any human can come up with, and even then you're going to be wrapped up in corruption from every angle. For us, dear sister, we need to abandon this government. We need to head towards the Marja'iyah. The wisdom is with the Marja'iyah, the people of knowledge, the people who know the wisdom of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salatu was-salam. Sorry, Subhan, because he's signaling to me. Subhan, if you can just message me on the messenger, and I'll get your message. So that's our solution, sister. We need to head towards the Marja'iyah. They have the wisdom. They'll have the steps that can lead the country to stability. Leading a country in this situation to stability is not a small thing. It's not a thing that can happen overnight. There has to be very intricate steps taken. And one of the possibilities is Sheikh Al-Habib's suggestion, which is to go towards the Marja'iyah. Let there be an emergency government for the sake and focus of restructuring or rebuilding the infrastructure. This ties in with your question regarding pollution and environmental issues. This can be possibly a part of the plan that can be put together with the Marja'iyah and authority for a 10-year period as suggested by the Sheikh, where they can rebuild the roads, rebuild the hospitals, the schools, the electricity, the water, get these fundamentals. That this is really at the heart of the problem with the people. They don't have a stable, simple life. They're not asking for much. They want the basic rights that any human deserves. And from there can be the other options taken. Brother Ali Habib detailed where they can elect, public election can occur, where there's someone put into authority, and they would be pressured by a voting system where a certain number of votes would lead to either them being questioned or even them being dismissed by the Marja. And that's where we are, sister, in terms of our suggestion. And we see, and just to say, we see no hope in the current government, and that's our position.
Okay, so is there, like, I was hearing you talk about Al-Sistani, and so I'm seeing there's trust for Al-Sistani, but is there trust for Barham Salah, or is there there's just like he is?
Is there trust? Is there trust for whom? Is there trust for who? Sorry?
Barham, I think he's the president. Barham Salah. Might not be pronouncing it correctly.
The Iraqi president. Yeah, he's not the prime minister, the president.
Right.
No.
Not the prime minister.
I know who you're talking about. I mean, he wouldn't have any authority. He doesn't have any power. He doesn't have any backing, and he's involved in the corrupted government at the moment. That's happening in Iraq.
Nor does he actually have the political mind
He
to
has no
actually
influence. Yeah.
bring Iraq back together.
The problem is we have millions of people demonstrating at the moment, and there's no leader. There is no leader. There's no one to go and negotiate with. The only person that you can go and negotiate with is the Ayatollah. That's the truth. The Ayatollah Sistani. That's the only solution. That is the only solution on the table. Or we'll just have another. Or otherwise, we're in the blinks of having another civil war in Iraq. Another civil war.
May Allah protect us from that.
Yeah, may Allah protect us.
Allah. Dear sister, I'll give it to you for any last words because we are coming to the end of the show here. We're going to have to wrap it up. So if you have any last words you'd like to mention and before we have to part ways.
Yes, we are with you, and we whatever we can do, and my group, we can support you, and we are listening, we are praying, and we are 100% with you.
May Allah bless you. We appreciate your support, and we ask Allah to increase you in guidance and knowledge and wisdom, and hopefully you and your group and whoever's working with you can be a part of the solution, inshallah ta'ala, and a part of the hastening of the reappearance of the Imam. Thank you very much, dear sister, and we really do appreciate your call. Inshallah, maybe in the future we can have you back on. For a sister with very thoughtful points that she brought forward. Subhan, just put up that last tweet and we'll be wrapping it up here. So this question where we're at here just before the call is, what can the mu'mineen worldwide do to help Iraq? And I just want to finish on this point, which is there's a lot of things the mu'mineen can do to help Iraq, and there's a lot of things we can do to help the world. As I was saying, that the corruption is not just in Iraq, it's in the West, it's in all the countries in the MENA region. Actually, our view is that all governments today are corrupt, and the only government that will be free from corruption is that government which is led by the Ma'sumin, and more specifically Imam Mahdi alayhi salatu wasalam. So the answer to the question, the mu'mineen, what they can do is hasten the reappearance of the Imam. Of course, in a practical sense, in a step-by-step sense, we say they can apply the plan that Ali Habib has explained, the plan of Sheikh al-Habib, the ideas of Sheikh al-Habib in terms of going towards a marja'iyah. But on a grander scale, I want to take the answer to a grander scale, which is that we can hasten the reappearance of the Imam alayhi salatu wasalam. This is a call for every Shia to go and discover or rediscover, as it seems like the Shia Ummah have forgotten, what is required from us for the Imam alayhi salatu wasalam to reappear. It is our view that the Shia are falling short enormously. And maybe one of the biggest shortcomings of the Shia Ummah today is we are not doing even 1% of what is required from us for the Imam to reappear. Now we are here in 2020. There's no reason why the Imam could not have been here already. There's no reason other than our shortcomings. We cannot fool ourselves and pretend that one day certain people will come and fulfill this position. We need to fulfill this position. Every day we delay it, there is another death, there is another rape, there is another theft, there is more money siphoned from the people, there is more people that die hungry and more people that become homeless, and the crimes continue. So every day we delay this, this is our fault, the Shia's fault. This is in our hands. We have this secret, we have this blessing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted us to know, because it could be anyone. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could have given this to anyone, but we are the ones that have been blessed with this, and we are the ones that have a big duty and responsibility to hasten the reappearance of the Imam. So that's the answer there from the Rafida Roundtable here, and that was episode 3. We were discussing, of course, the solution to the Iraq revolution. But after the revolution is another revolution that we can speak about in the future. And thank you for your time, dear viewers, and inshallah we see you next time on the Rafida Roundtable. It has been a pleasure as always. Please do tune in. Next time we'll be announcing that soon on social media. Keep sending du'as and we'll keep you in ours. And fi aman Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam.
سوى العليان يا شيعة الكرام.